Greetings. How you doing? I'm Unoptimized Fool here in the closet. It's beautiful in here. It's kind of warm, not gonna lie. And I want to talk about Xal'atath. Now, Blizzard and World of Warcraft has had a slight problem. There's a big bad, right? The Lich King. They show up at the beginning of the expansion, maybe a couple of patches before the big expansion. That we fight them. At the end of the expansion, they're either defeated or locked up somewhere. And then boom. Now, obviously, like if you look at Garrosh, right? Garrosh was, not even the big bad the whole time. It was just a big bad for the last kind of patch. And then we went to War of the Draenor, and he did die in a cutscene, feels bad, but his actions led to another, situation. But Xal'atath is different. And Chris Metzen confirmed that Xal'atath is not going to be like a Deathwing, where a Deathwing shows up and we kill him in one shot, right? In one expansion. Chris Metzen has said that Xal'atath will be persistent and will be encountering her throughout the whole arc of the saga. Meaning the War Within, Midnight, and the Last Titan, we should all expect to see Xal'atath. Because remember, Xal'atath is more in the back, type of, movement, right? She's not the person that you're going to confront. She's always in the shadows, right? If you've been playing the campaign quests inside War Within, you're going to notice that she's always kind of dodgy and causing some havoc. Obviously, the first raid, the Palace raid, we're going to be fighting that Spider Queen, not Xal'atath herself, because again, what she's done to corrupt things, she has some plans and motions that we know some of them, but not really the whole grand scheme of everything. So it's good the fact that Xal'atath's going to be like this thorn in our side for a long time. I think if given the time right, imagine if we had to deal with Xal'atath for 3 expansions, which it looks like we are. So that means that potentially, if the cadence is the same, 2 years for each expansion, right? So for 6 years, we're going to be having to deal with Xal'atath's bullshit for 6 years. At the end of it, we're going to be pleading to kill her. We're going to be annoyed at her. We're going to hate her. And that's good. You want to hate a villain. You want to get rid of a villain. And like a villain, with Cataclysm, with Deathwing, you had, obviously he was causing some destruction. You want to get rid of him. But, he wasn't like that thorn in the side where he kept getting away and skeeving. He was just right there always in your face. And we took care of him in expansion. But imagine Deathwing for 6 years just destroying Azeroth. We would hate him. And then it would be crazy once we fight him and kill him. It would be like this, kind of weight off our shoulders. So maybe in the Last Titan, the final patch, we might fight Xal'atath. I don't see Xal'atath dying in like a beginning of an expansion. I see it always at the end, maybe at the end of Midnight. But he did say throughout the whole arc we'll see Xal'atath. Now, obviously, does that mean we'll see visions of her in the Last Titan and she'll die off in the Midnight? But I honestly think she's 100% not dying in the War Within. She's going to be behind the shadows. And I love that. I think this is a great way that, again, I kind of covered how their storytelling is going to be a little bit different here coming up. And obviously, it's a new WHOLE WorldSoul Saga versus one expansion story. And I think this is a great idea. I think this is a fantastic way for Blizzard to kind of not like compress the story and run through some parts. Because some parts, Dragonflight was a good experience and a good expansion. But unfortunately, it was so condensed in some spots. It seemed like, for example, that blue elemental dragon, the one that Razagath got escaped, it felt like in like 5 minutes she was bad and then she was good. Obviously it took a long time for her to do that, but imagine if they had 6 years instead of like a month to tell that story. It would look and feel a lot better. So I'm hoping that eventually, this WorldSoul Saga is going to be such a good, hit for Blizzard that every expansion afterwards is a saga, 3 or 4 expansions, and they announce all the expansions. Obviously, they didn't tell us much of the details. They did tell us some details for each expansion, but there's still a lot of mystery of what happens in the War Within even, and Midnight, especially the Last Titan, right? We have general breadcrumbs of where we're going to be eventually going, but how we're going to get there and what we're going to do there is still a mystery. So I think this is a great way and a good way to kind of progress the story. I don't think the WorldSoul Saga is going to be the last saga we see inside of World of Warcraft. But guys, what's your opinion on this? Is it good that Xal'atath's going to be here potentially for 6 years? Is it going to be 6 years? What's the cadence? I don't know. But I'll see you guys next time. Unoptimized Fool here from the closet. I'll see you later.